Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda Civic 2.2 diesel, and it's a rare model. It's the CIT, registered RJ61RPX. Mileage at the start of this road test is 46,525 miles. Reason for doing these road tests is essentially so anyone that's actually looking at this car in an advert online actually gets to see the very car you're looking at in the advert in operation. It's very important for us to do this, so you actually get to see the car and we can get to tell you about the vehicle, our feelings on it, but also any issues there might be prior to coming to see us. We know just how frustrating it is to see a car advertised, go and see it, and then drive it, only to find it's got a fundamental problem with it, which you clearly should have been told about before setting off to go and see the car. It's also done on these lovely quiet country roads very close to our premises, so hopefully be representative of what you'd feel yourself if actually offered a test drive on the car. So come to the vehicle. Engines are absolutely superb in these cars. The CTDI engine, as you probably know already, they don't run cam belts, they run cam chains, so there's no scheduled service of those at all within the life of the engine. They also don't run the DPF filters that are causing so many problems for so many manufacturers and customers alike. But the engines are just fabulous to drive day in and day out. It's very smooth, very, very quiet, but also really punchy in terms of its performance. There's no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the vehicle for that matter, and temperature gauge is running at a third, which is exactly where it should be on a Honda car, whether it be petrol or diesel. But the engines themselves have got such a lovely broad sweep of power and torque. Quite often you find with turbo diesels that they can have kind of nothing with lots of turbo lag, or have a sort of sudden rush of power and then nothing at all. These engines rev or pull right through the rev range from just over 1,000 all the way up to about 4,500 RPM, but it does so with a lovely kind of linear kind of power delivery. Engine then feeds through clutch into gearbox. Clutch is absolutely spot on. Bike point is exactly where it should be on the pedal travel as well. Gearbox on the vehicle, as I've always gone on about in this generation Civic, is a fantastic gearbox. It really is. It's just such a lovely slick gear change. It's got it finds its way home without you even really have to think about it. The springing on the gear lever is such that it guides you into the next gear wonderfully well. And that isn't always the case with front-wheel drive cars which use cables, which is the Hondas do. You know, it's the most efficient way to go forward and back. There's less vibration comes back through them. But it's, you know, some gear changes can be quite vague and lifeless. This couldn't be anything different to that, more different to that. It's got such a lovely slick actuation to it. And the gear change and the synchro mesh quality is absolutely superb on them as well, and I can't feel anywhere in the linkage at all. It's absolutely spot on. Steering of the vehicle tracks absolutely dead straight. There's no vibrations at all coming through the steering wheel of the car at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit, by the way. But it feels really tight and crisp. It just, on the road, there's no vagueness, there's no lifelessness to it. It's very quick in operation, and very, very direct indeed. Chassis of the vehicle, which is perfectly tuned to the steering, by the way, because it's, you know, nothing worse than having really quick steering with a sort of really flaccid, floppy chassis. This is lovely. It's got real directness to the chassis. The change of direction is absolutely brilliant. And the mid-corner damping is fantastic on the car. It doesn't sort of pitch or wallow through there at all. What I'm looking for on the road tests is just any sounds, any metallic noises coming from underneath, any clonks, any rattles from underneath, of which there's nothing at all. You hear it's hitting the bumps, but nothing beyond that. Ride quality is really good as well. Don't believe what you read in some of the motoring press. You know, the sharpest ridges, yes, they do catch it out, but they do most modern cars, especially ones running very low profile tyres. but this rides really comfortably on the vast majority of road surfaces. It's just the kind of the sharper ridges that tend to catch them out, in all honesty. The brakes on the car, if you've been online and checked the MOT history of the car, you'll see at the last MOT they advised front brake pads and rear pads, and they've been done on the car. So the brake pedal's lovely and solid. There's no pulsing or vibration, and it pulls the front of the car down nice and straight and true as well. But nice to see the last owner, heeded their advice. Looking around inside the vehicle, it's not been cleaned yet, but it's in lovely condition in here. And as I quite often say on the videos don't do justice sometimes, or can't do justice to the build quality of the interiors. These are really well made cars. There's no rattles, squeaks, buzzers, nothing from the interior at all, and it all works beautifully. You've got, obviously with the CIT, you get this nice sat nav. I've got modern one fitted, all working absolutely perfectly. Air conditioning is absolutely ice cold on the car, and it's nearly 20 degrees outside today. It's quite a muggy day, so that's all working exactly as it should. But the dash itself is just fantastic. It's just so different from the normal binnacle center stack variations on that particular theme. But it's all functional. Sat nav is nice and clear. The information high up on this two-tier dashboard is just genius, really. You got your radio ventilation there, and then to the right here you've got the most important information, the speedo of the vehicle, which is really high up. So basically you can look at the road ahead, pedestrians or junctions, but clearly keep your eye on your forward speed at all times. I think it's just so clever. You also get a little rev prompt to tell you when to change gear, and an econo light and a rev light there as well, which flanks them. But it's just, it's so different but functional, which is what I love about it. Down below that, you got this more conventional-ish pod, because it's kind of like a hologram effect. You got this lovely backlighting behind the information display. It looks absolutely fantastic, and then obviously temperature gauge and fuel gauge there. Rest of the dash, really nice and easy to operate and use. You can tell it's one of these later Civics, basically a couple of ways. Firstly, the plastics around the gear lever here and on the armrests as well, and now look like a more sort of tungsten-y or look to them, but they're much more scratch resistant. Same here, the plastics here, which used to be a sort of black shiny plastic, which looked fantastic, but fingernails and makeup and rings and everything else could mark them quite easily, actually. So Honda worked that out quite quickly. Sorry, do excuse me. But yeah, I mean, but it's very, very functional, the changes they actually made on it, in all honesty. As I said at the start of the video, the point of the video is to pick up any issues, no matter how small, and there's nothing on this vehicle to report back whatsoever. It drives absolutely beautifully, this car. Having said that, if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.